Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerberson, here with Reed Bacon. Oh, the Vols lost. We lost to Michigan. I'm sorry to say it, trigger warning. But we have to talk about the game, discuss what happens. But we have something fun planned for you guys. Hopefully get your mind off of it. It is an all-Vol bracket, which is going to be so much fun to run through that I put together. And let's jump into it.
The game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir, Reed. No, sir, Reed. Final score: Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught by Tennessee. Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down at the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
All right, so before we jump into the podcast, shout out our number one sponsor, as always, betonline.ag. Listen, if you're wanting to make anything exciting, you got to bet on it. It makes it so much better. Even if you're following a team that you're not necessarily a fan of, you put some money down, the thing gets very exciting. You're really watching that game. BetOnline is that place to do it. It's got all the news, the stats, the scores, the odds, everything you could think of. They cover every sport too: football, basketball, boxing, golf, everything you could think of. That is the place to go. So when you head over, check out their new mobile site, their new website. And when you sign up, you will receive a 50% welcome bonus if you use the code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV when you sign up. So 50% welcome bonus. That's awesome. 50% on your first deposit. That's amazing. So before you watch any games, before you enjoy any sports, head on over to BetOnline, put some money down on it, make it exciting. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. All right. Welcome in, everyone. I'm going to apologize on the front end. Trigger warning for everybody. The past few days, I've been avoiding Twitter, avoiding Instagram, avoiding podcasts, because I know they're going to mention the loss, but it's something we got to talk about because it's who we are. So, trigger warning, be warned, this might make you upset because it makes me upset just talking about it. But before we get into that, Reed, how we doing, bud?
You know, man, Kyler, this one's, you know, they all sting, man. They all sting. I'm still really happy with the season, but I'll say this: it's been a good weekend besides Saturday. At around.
Yeah, you really start to think about your life when something like this happens. It's like, okay, what can I really appreciate?
So it's like,
because when it happened, I was literally going to dinner with my family, and we all sat down. Everyone else there are females, and they were just like, "Yeah, we're having dinner," and I literally was sitting there like this, just dead inside, just looking around like, well, what do I do now? Like, what the hell do I do?
Yeah, no, it's like, I just had the feeling, you know, and I've told people, I've said on this podcast before, there's times where, like that other game a couple weeks back where my dad's like, oh no, I had a bad feeling. I was like, calm down, we're going to be fine. And they were. But this game was different. I never felt good. I never felt secure. I kind of always felt like it was just destined to happen. You know, and it's like, it was such a good weekend. My mom and I went to Stations of the Cross and the fish fry at Sacred Heart on Friday. And I bring that up to say, if people are in Knoxville, even if you're not Catholic and you just like good fish, you go to Sacred Heart. It's $8 a plate. It goes to a good thing. It goes to a good cause. And I'm telling you, bro, I try to eat relatively healthy, and then I'll have like 2 or 3 like cheat meals throughout the week. And then if I'm really trying to watch what I'm eating, then I'll maybe have like 1 cheat meal. So I couldn't tell you the last time I just had something fried with fries. But we went there, and the fish was incredible, Kyler. Like, fish was good. They had mac and cheese. They had the Big Sister soup roll. So it's like, that was great. Stations of the Cross was great. Saturday, I stayed in bed until like, I woke up, but then like stayed in bed until like 12. I mean, this is like the most prime, perfect read weekend. I run some errands. And let me say this. As I was running errands yesterday, I was going to Target to pick some stuff up, and then I was going to look at a couple properties that I'm looking at for some rentals. And I kid you not, it felt awesome, and it just felt great because everywhere I went, I saw orange. And this is I'm not making this up for the podcast, but I worked out here around and ran the neighborhood, and then I went and got a smoothie bowl, and it's like I see people wearing some orange. Then I drive from the smoothie bowl place to look at one of these properties over in like kind of the North Knoxville area. A guy walking his dog, big Tennessee shirt, driving around in the cars. I saw like at least 3 or 4 cars. Everyone had their UT on. An older lady, probably in her 60s, was coming out of her house and had her Tennessee basketball shirt on. And I'm like,
everybody's proud, man. Everybody's proud.
I was like, dang, man, like this feels like a big deal. Like this feels like more. And like, then of course, you go to Target, and like half the people in Target are all like, I had my UT hoodie on, everyone else. And it's just like, dude, like it was like this, just like something in the air. It's like that smell is that feel like, just like it's playoff football, like it's March Madness basketball. And so we get to start watching this game, and they start going. And I'm like, all right, you know. And then Josiah Jordan-James steps up, plays really well, gets us kind of back. I mean, this is super early in the game, but I'm like, holy crap, like pump the brakes. We can't let them run away with it now. Like, you know, what are we doing? And so Josiah played well. And then we had our runs in the first half, and then we ended out the first half. And I was like,
yeah,
okay,
that run at the end of the first half to get up 5 by the buzzer was just like,
hey,
it was perfect. It was
sorry.
like,
hold on. I knew this crap was going to happen. I'm gonna have to put her downstairs.
Go get her ass.
Come here.
All right. Well, while Reed's taking care of the dog, yeah, the run in the first half to end the half.
She's running from me. I just had to go around that way.
This is great content. I love it. But the run to end the half was great. It literally, I was so nervous and so worried in that first half until that run happened. We finished the first half good. We're up 5 going into halftime. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, we got this. We're going to be okay. Like, we're up 5. Everything's fine. We come out of the half. We're going to be good. And most of the game, I wasn't like, oh, you guys are playing horrible, right? Most of the game, I wasn't like, that was a dumb move. That was a dumb shot. You're not playing the right defense. Like, I never really felt like that throughout the game. I really felt like, how the hell is Michigan making these shots? Like, that's more of how I felt. I was like, that's good defense by Euros. That's good defense by Josiah Jordan. That's good defense by Ziegler. How the hell are these guys making these shots? So when it does come down to that, it silver lining kind of feels better because you don't feel like they squandered it, right? Or they played bad. But God, it feels horrible because that's probably the best game Michigan's played in a year and a half. Like they played electric. The Dickinson guy with 27 points. Like, who is this guy? I've never even heard of him before, and he just goes off.
No, he's a good player. He's a very good player. And I will say this, just as we're talking about him, please, listeners, like, I know this sounds awful. I know I sound like a tool. I know I sound like a loser. And like, I would not like this person if they said it. But yesterday when that game ended, I wanted to physically I wanted to fight him. Like I would have given like $100 or $200 to get Dickerson in a room, like just me and him one-on-one. Now I get it. He's 7 foot or like whatever. I don't know what his weight is. So he obviously has the reach on me. But like, I mean, I'm 6'1", like 220. Like, I'm not small, but
No.
I'm saying that he probably has the advantage. He definitely reach-wise. Annie, be quiet. I'm on a podcast. So anyways, but when he got first off, I've never liked him, and I don't like Michigan. So that's one of the things for me. It really stings. Like why couldn't we lost to like Vermont or like San Diego State?
Yeah.
I hate Michigan. Michigan's like Notre Dame to me. They're like Ohio State. They're like all these teams that are always overrated every year in football, and they always end up having a decent season because their preseason ranked so high that even when they do lose 3 games, you still look up at the end of the year and they're like 17th. It's like, what? Why are they 17th? It's like, oh, because at the beginning of the year, people had them in like number 4 or 7. So they never got down too far down. But anyways, like when he's a good player, but like he's also a lame-o. And when he got that last rebound and Fulkerson kind of gave him a little shove because Fulkerson was frustrated. I don't know if people saw it, but Dickerson got in the face of one of our male cheerleaders and pumped like that. I said, my God. I said, this loser is trying to jump and pump at a male cheerleader. I said, bro, if he pumped at me like that, I would just headbutt him and break his jaw. Like I was furious. I was furious. So anyways, like, I'm not proud to admit it, but like, I have a problem. Like I have a problem. Like
we need to get Reed to anger management.
So it's like,
listen, you do not have a problem because I felt the exact same way. And I don't even think it's like anger management-esque. It's like competitiveness management. That's what it is.
Because I don't have anger management. Like
no, it's like I am so competitive as who I am. To see him score like that, I like automatically in my brain, I'm like, I'd like to see you do that on me.
Yeah.
I'll body your ass up. Like you ain't getting close to that basket. Like I am in his grill every play, like no easy baskets. That's all. Like I was thinking that same thing. Like, let me at him, bro. No way he scores that much, even though he's freaking 6 inches taller, 7 inches taller than I am, and can actually shoot. And I can't shoot to save my damn life. Like he would probably kill me on the basketball court. But yeah, if he bowed up to me like that, if I was that cheerleader, I would have grabbed his damn collar, been like, step to my damn face.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is that cheerleader actually even going to get in trouble? Because the player, he's the one that like jumped at him, like kind of like do something. I was like, I mean, that's a hell of a way for that cheerleader to go out if he's like a senior, just like be remembered as the guy that just like takes a swing at like he would get in a lot of trouble and all that and all that.
Yeah, he's probably like, yeah, kick me off the cheerleading team. Y'all don't pay my damn tuition anyways. Like I do this for free for y'all.
You know, listen, I know this sounds, like I said, just super lame and douchey, but like you said, it's just we're so competitive. But I hate Michigan. I don't like them, and so I'm also now as I've gotten older, I turn the games off. Like when he got that last rebound, like I changed the game so I don't have to see the other team celebrate. Like in football, if we're losing, I'll change it. I don't want to see the other team celebrating, and I don't want to see our guys sad, and I don't want to hear the commentary after the game like, oh, they played a great game, they did this. I'm like, no, like, but then it's funny because like what else am I supposed? Like I just started pacing the house. Like I remember
what else are you supposed to do?
I remember and then I was like, all right, well, I need to do something before I like lay down to watch the rest of these games. I remember one time earlier this year, I was watching a Titans game and it was against the Jets. And like, I knew going in the game, they were going to give us a good fight. We didn't have a lot of people. We were really injured, but we still should have won the game. Well, ended up, we go to overtime, we lose the game. And it's like, I don't know, like 4 PM. We just lost the game. It's like the weather's not great outside, but I was like, F it. Like, Dad, let's just go play golf. He's like, what? Like, He's like, you want to go play now? And I was like, yeah. Like, I'm getting out of the house. I'm going to go play 9 holes. I don't care if it's raining. Like, I can't be here. Like, I don't want to watch the rest of the NFL games. Like,
No.
I'm pissed. So, and listen, not take it away, but like Dickerson's a good player. Like, I know who he is. I was very nervous and worried about him. I watched the Colorado State game while I was working on Thursday because I wanted to see Colorado State, Michigan. I was hoping Colorado State won because I didn't want to play Michigan because then I knew if we lost him, I'd be pissed. And Dickerson is a good player, and I like the matchup against Colorado State. But, like, so he's a good player. He's just a really, really lame-o. Like, and, like, so anyways, yeah, I just can't stand him. But
no, I couldn't watch another game. I couldn't.
Did you not watch any more last night?
No, I can't. I don't think I can watch any today. Like I just, it's not going to happen. Like I need some time before I watch these games because all it does is piss me off. And I'm like, you're telling me freaking St. Mary's gets further than us? Are you fucking kidding me? Like it just makes me so mad.
Yeah.
To see it like that.
And I felt the same way, but after a while I came back and watched. And it ended up being a pretty good weekend because then I ended up I rarely will put $100 on a game. Like I'm usually, if I'm betting on 50, most of the time I'll put 75 the most I'll usually do is 75, maybe 100, like maybe very rarely in my time I'll do 100, but usually it's 25, 50. And I kind of do like more, like I might put $15 on a parlay to win like 100 and something, so I'm not listen, there's a lot of my buddies that throw a lot more coin down on this stuff than I do. But last night I was pissed and I felt really, really good about St. Peter's. And I'd put a bet on them the other night, a money line to beat Kentucky, and they did. I was like, F it, man. Like, I'm already pissed. Like, I just want to be able to watch a game. So I put $100 on them money line. So that hit. And so I won I won 150. So it was a 250 payout. So I was like, all right. That's a nice way to bounce back. And then I went and got a nice Sonic Blast. And that was a nice way to bounce back.
Whatever makes you feel better. I just literally ate a pizza for lunch and I'm going golfing after this. And it's literally all to make me feel better.
Yeah.
At this moment.
And I did feel better, even though I don't like Gonzaga. I felt better that they beat Memphis because I was like, if Memphis beats Gonzaga and they're going to say that we made it farther in the tournament, I was going to be so pissed. And I knew, listen, I don't think Gonzaga's as good as they were last year. I think they're a little overrated. And Memphis was playing hot. And I knew athletically they'd be able to match up with them. So I figured they would make it a game, but I was happy to see Gonzaga win that because I'm just salty. I don't want Penny Hardaway or Memphis to make it farther than us.
No, definitely not. So since you don't watch after the game, I was kind of forced to because it was on a TV where we were eating and I was facing the TV. 3 things happened. One, the absolute eruption that Michigan had in the locker room, pouring water all over each other. Like it was by far their biggest win, like it seems ever. Like Juwan Howard's jumping up and down with Chris Webber. Like they, so
acting like they just won a national championship.
Yes, so that's annoying. 2, they showed Candace Parker watching the game. They had a camera on her, and I was just like, God dang it, Candace, you are all of us. Like it was exactly how I was reacting in moments. You could see her just like watch the ball go somewhere. Like it didn't tell you what place. Like what, and then just like this, or just like sit there like that. And she had to like get up from the desk and like walk around for a minute. It's just like being a Tennessee fan is so frustrating. And I was like, God, Candace, I freaking feel you. Like that is it right there. And then last but not least, I'm so fucking pissed. They put out SportsCenter, ESPN, this picture of Juwan Howard consoling Kennedy Chandler as he cries about losing this game. Get the frick off the damn court, Juwan. No one wants to see your ass consoling our guy. He doesn't want to fucking hug you.
Yeah.
He's got his own damn coach. No one gives a shit about your ass abusing other coaches and getting suspended. And you back in your glory days of playing at Michigan where you didn't do anything, get off the damn court, quit coming over to hug our players. I'm sick of you. I don't want to see you anymore. Get away from Kennedy Chandler. That was my thought process.
I do. It was funny because I was thinking if I was Kennedy, like I wouldn't want him touching me either. But like when you're crying and you're so emotional like that, you don't know who the hell's around you. You don't really know what the hell's going on. Like you're not thinking about it. But if I had been Kennedy Chandler and crying and I saw Juwan Howard, like I'm not going to be rude to him, but I would have walked off. Like I would have like dapped him up, said, "Hey, good game." And then if he was trying to hug me and console me, I kind of would have pulled away and just started walking off. Because that is. Listen, I actually do think Juwan Howard's like a pretty good guy. Like I don't like him. I don't like Michigan, like I've said. But I don't think he was doing that fake. Like I think he was trying to be the bigger person, like the role model. Like, dude, you see a kid upset, like you've been there, like you know how it is to lose. But like I get where you're coming from, and I get that if I was Kenny Channel, like I wouldn't have been around him. But
so I mean, imagine fucking Nick Saban coming up to my ass after Alabama beats us and coming over to try and fucking hug me. I'd been like, bro, get the hell away from me, bro.
I know.
Like, you got to be kidding me. I don't want you anywhere close to me.
Yeah.
But
well, let me talk about a little bit about the game. So, like I said, Josiah Jordan James keeps us in and early. I felt watching it like I didn't know why we were trying to play through our bigs early. And the only thing that I can think of is that maybe we were trying to get fouls on Dickerson and some of their other players. But and then we started to play a little bit better, and I really wanted that shot to drop so that we were up 8 going in half, but also just for the momentum. It was a good play, swinging around, everybody touches it, bang a 3, run in there, like let's go, let's get fired up. And it didn't happen, but that's okay. But then that second half, even when we were up, I guess 6, it's just like you got to get to 8, you got to get to 10, and really, like I had mentioned on the other podcast about the Auburn game, you have to be up by like 5, 6, 7 with about 3 minutes to go, because then that puts the other team's buttholes really, really tight, and they know all the pressure's on them. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not pressure on the team that's up, but people see, oh, there's 3 minutes to go in basketball. That's an eternity. It is, but you got to think about possessions. Like each team's maybe going to get 3 more possessions. So one missed shot is so crucial. Mm-hmm. And so that's why when I knew that we couldn't get it to 8 or 10, and kind of you want to play the hold-off game. You want to keep holding them off, which means you have to answer because they're going to hit some shots. So you have to answer. You want to play the hold-off game. You don't want to ever have to be the team trying to catch up. And then obviously it's really, really stressful for everyone involved if it's back and forth like a heavyweight fight where it's a tie ball game and you keep answering. But I just didn't. I didn't know why we were going to our bigs. And then I was so happy to finally see KC take over, man. He's the most talented, best player on the court, going at it. There was some stuff where I was getting frustrated with some of the whistles. How can Kennedy Chandler drive that many times and never go to the free throw line? Not one time.
It's ridiculous.
And then
they kept holding their whistles the entire game. They weren't calling anything. Like I thought there was plenty of fouls of guys driving to the basket, even for Michigan too, if you want to break it down like that. But like, why the hell are you guys even out there?
I just thought, yeah, listen, and I'm cool with people holding their whistles and like, hey, let it be a little bit more physical. Like in the NBA playoffs, in the NCAA tournament, like let it be a little bit more physical. Just we've always said, just be consistent. And I felt like there were some inconsistencies. And then, of course, towards the end of the game, it was like they called 18 on us and only like 10 on Michigan by the end of the game. But I felt like Tennessee did play a little tight. It's easier to pull shots and hit shots. Well, let's not even say hit shots. It's easier just to pull a shot and feel confident with it when you're winning, or when you're definitely blowing someone out like we were doing against Longwood. And it's like, I felt like yesterday it was like we started making those passes not only because we were trying to make the right basketball play, but because they also knew, like, I don't want to be the guy that takes his shot and misses it.
Yeah. And
so Ziegler took his at the top of the key. I said, "Forget, man, let that thing fly, bro. Like, someone's got to take it. Someone's got to be confident." They really took Vescovi out of the game, which we really needed him to hit some threes. But I was happy to see KC do what he did and get to the rack. They couldn't stay in front of him. One time they had a block that was pretty late and crucial, and I was hoping they were going to call goaltending. I don't know if it was or not. I think my frustration was I felt like we played a little tight, but my real frustration was I felt like we should have done a better job down low.
Yeah.
On Dickerson. Like, whether it's Euros, whether it's Fulkerson, whether it's Joseph Adu, or whether it's Brandon Huntley Hatfield, like, someone has to be better to try to deny him the ball, or we should have been better on, I felt like kind of the first half and a little bit of the second half, like we didn't do a good enough job rebounding. Like when they would get a shot up, like, okay, shot's up. But then I just felt like there was two things I felt like. They would get a shot up, and then I would look, and you're hoping it misses. But then when you miss it, you're like, why does Michigan have two guys there, and we have, like, Vescovi down there trying?
Yeah.
Like, God bless him, but, like, he's not as tall as those guys. Like, where's our big guys? Why are they not boxing out?
Go after a rebound.
Exactly. And then the other thing was, I felt like Michigan was getting a lot more open threes than we were, whether it was because of transition or on those second chance points. I counted that they had 3 threes, so 9 points off second chance points throughout the game. And those are the ones just I saw and remember. But like,
yeah,
overall, I've been hard on Rick. You know, yesterday we didn't hit the shot, so you can't be 2 of 15 from 3, like 11% from 3 and win a game. And they were good looks. They just didn't go in. Like sometimes we've talked about on this podcast, your shots just don't fall. We had Josiah, Vescovi, Kenny Chandler, and Ziegler. They all had threes that like rimmed in and rim out. And like, that's unfortunately how the ball bounces sometimes. But I just feel like it's just a weird mojo with Rick. As you know, like, I don't know, like maybe we need to sneak in. Maybe we need to sneak in the tournament, be like an 8 seed or 9 seed one year, not have pressure and just catch fire, because it just seems like even with him or Bruce, like we always have good regular seasons, and then we get there and we lose, you know, second round Rick, or we lose in the Sweet 16 or whatever. So I'm not going to come on here and say that he needs to be fired and it's his fault again like I did last year. But you can't lose to Michigan, man. Like they were 18 and 14. They barely got in the tournament. We're 6 or 7 point favorite against them. Like, we're a better basketball team, and you got to prove it.
I know that, but that's why I almost felt like they were lucky in like the fact that we were so bad from 3. Some of the shots that they made, the fact that Dickinson was literally just like lights out from 3, like golly Moses. And then, dude, that last basket that their point guard had driving it. I mean, who was he? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Like, what the hell was that? He just threw it over his head, skyhook, like 99% of the time that doesn't go in. And for some reason it did for him. I was so annoyed to see that. Like, it was such a gut punch to me. And like, to be a Tennessee fan being like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? Like, how lucky can you get to put us away with that shot?
You know, and it's funny that you bring that up, because I was talking to a buddy last night after the game, just kind of like going back and forth. Hey, what do you think? What's going on? And the two gut punches to me were when Ziegler hit that really, really great shot, but it was our fault for letting us get down to shot clock. It was a shot clock violation, because that kept the game at, I think that was 6 points at that. And if he had made that, then it's 4, and we got that, and that's when we pressured and got that steal, which was a hell of a play, hell of a full court pressure, not to foul, steps out of bounds, and then I think Vescovi is the one that drives in, and so it's, you know, therefore when he scores, it becomes a 4-point game, but really that should have been a 2-point game, or maybe it should have been tied. I'm forgetting it a little bit, but you guys get the point I'm making. But the gut punch of like, I knew he didn't get it off in time, so I know they reviewed it, but like I knew it wasn't going to count. And it was like a minute to go in the game, like 50 seconds to go. Like I said, possessions are so crucial. We just ruined one by not even getting a shot up. Yeah. And then the other thing is too. So that was the first one that hit me, and then they KO'd me when dude, we play great defense. It's like we got the momentum, we just got the stop and steal, we just scored. It's a 1 possession game. We play great defense. There's 6 seconds to go. I'm like, oh, he's stuck. Like he's in a bad spot, like he's going to have to chuck some up, and he chucks something up, and not only does it go in, but it's like perfect. And it's just like, that was the KO to me. I was like, it's over. Like, it's a 2 possession game. Like, we're not, it was brutal. So I felt the same way you felt, but then I talked to Jack, and he was like, you can't be in that position. Like, you can't let a team hang around. And I agree. Like, when you're up 6 points with 5 minutes to go, like, you got to get that to 10. You're good enough to get it to 10, but you know, give Michigan credit. I actually thought their offense was better than us. I think their offense is better. I felt
dude,
like
their two bigs
their
were unstoppable.
I felt like their coaching, their coaching was better. And they made big time shots, and that's what happens. And it's just sickening because I'll say it again, I can't stand them, and I hate losing in March. And it was just bullshit. Like, we had the much better team and the much better season, but we're not going to remember that because of 60 minutes of basketball or 40 minutes of basketball, whatever, you know?
Yeah. I agree. It's very shitty feeling.
I'm still gonna remember though the great win and sweeping Kentucky and the great win against Auburn and staying undefeated at home, and I'm proud for all those guys and happy for everybody, and I'm gonna remember that of this season. Like, I'm not gonna let this one loss take that away from me or these guys.
Banners fly forever, baby. We're SEC champs.
Yeah, and I'm happy about that. Jack was saying that he would trade our SEC tournament championship just to make it to the Elite Eight, and I was like,
no.
I don't know if I would. I was like, I'm proud that we won that SEC championship. Like, I really am. Like, now I think Kenny Chandler's still gone. Maybe he was so upset that, like, I see that and I'm like, maybe he does. Maybe he will come back. Maybe he will try to avenge this. Like, I loved his swagger yesterday, bro. Like, he passed that dished one off he drove in, dished it off to Euros, and Euros slammed it and got the N1, and you see, Kenny go like that, and he had his layup. He's like, hey, this is me. And I'm like, let's go, kid. You're right. Like, you might be 18 or 19 years old, but you got to be a dog. And I loved how he played, and I really respected that. And I will say this, the last thing, I got so pissed at Euros when he made a nice play and he hits a little baby hook, and then he mocks Dickerson and I looked at my dad and I said, what the I said, get your ass back on defense, bro. I was like, Dickerson's 1,000 times better player than you. And I get it. Like, you have to be very picky and choosy when you do stuff like this, when you're not the better player. Yeah. I will always be with somebody who's coming up against somebody who's better, but you're going to punch them in the fucking mouth, and you're going to let them know, hey, I'm here to play. But if you do that, you really better be here to play, and you better not, and you better show up. You know what I mean? That would be like,
not give up a basket on the next possession.
Bingo. If I'm coming from safety and I'm walking down and I come up and I get around you on an edge and maybe get a pressure on a quarterback and I let you know about it, well, I can promise you, I better start making some plays the rest of the game, because if CBS sees it and they see me and I'm giving 77 a little bit, well, I can't come back and let 77 pancake me the next time, then miss an open field tackle and then get a touchdown throw over my head. You can't you can't do that. And Euros, Dickerson is 1,000 times better basketball player than you are. And I get it. Like, I respect that you try and you bring that nasty, but you do that crap. Then you get down there, one of their guards comes in and drives, and he's so amped up from what he just did that he chases a little bit. Well, when he chases, it goes to Dickerson. Dickerson gets it and dunks it, and Euros is like still amped up. So he like tries to block it when he's not going to block it, and won. And it's like, you're an idiot. Yeah. You're an idiot. And like, he did later on in the game too. He made a basket and he felt like he was fouled, and he was running down the court and he was like yelling at a ref. And my dad was like, get your ass back down court. Like, quit arguing, like quit swinging your arms around, like go play defense. So, it was tough to see that. And it was like, after that, I was like, oh, great. He just like jinxed us. I'm stupid.
Yeah, I did want to point out some tweets I got after I said dead on Twitter. Someone responded, said, please check on Reed, but only if you have an extra 90 minutes to listen to his thoughts on Barnes.
Who is that? That's incredible.
Yeah, that was at real_NDG. And then
kudos to him.
And then one other, I tweeted, we can't have anything nice. And then someone responded, if Reed has an extra year of eligibility, he better start working on his jump shot. We're unleashing the big guns next year.
Let's go.
So the people love it. The people love you, Reed.
Oh, gosh. Extra 90 minutes. That's hilarious, bro.
Yeah. But hey, I got an extra 90 minutes every Sunday at 12 noon to listen to Reed. So I'm excited. All right. Well, now that that's over.
What do you let me ask you this. Well, I know you're putting your baseball jersey on, but how do you feel about the season?
There we go. I feel a lot better now.
You feel like it's a success though as a basketball season?
Yeah. I mean, I still feel like it's a success. I mean, we won the SEC. We were a 3 seed. It's not like we were a 1 seed and we lost in the second round. So Kentucky's loss is worse than ours. So I still think it's successful. I still think, Barnes was able to get a little bit of a monkey off his back by winning the SEC. And I think it helps with his legacy as a Tennessee coach. So I'm disappointed how it ended, but in no way am I saying this was a bad season.
Yeah. Well,
I guess it's kind of like football too.
Yeah.
I was disappointed how it ended, how we lost the bowl game, but I'm not going to say it's a bad season.
No, I thought football was a very good season. This was a good season. I got this pulled up, and so I promise. And I'm getting such a flood of emotions because we're talking about it again. I don't want to keep harping on it because I know we have an activity, like we're third graders. We have an activity that we need to do.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
But
it'll distract us from the pain.
But Santiago, Vescovi can't have 5 points. Fulkerson 6, Ziegler 8. I mean, It's just, our leading scorers were Kenny Chandler 19 and Josiah Jordan-James with 13. And I'll say this, those plays towards the end of the game by Fulkerson were sick, and I'm going to remember those. That block was outstanding block, and that putback that he had was a fantastic basketball play. You don't quit, you don't get watching, you don't box out. He goes in, makes it. And even after he made, he said, "Hey, we got a chance still. Let's keep doing this." Mm-hmm. But so I appreciate that, and that's what I'll remember of him. And I hate that's how the game ended. But anyways, all right. So your activity is we're going to do an all-ball bracket.
Okay, there, listeners. We've got another ad here. This one is Athletic Greens. So tons of people take multivitamins, but it's important to choose one that is top quality. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. Their special blend of ingredients supports gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and even aging. It's also lifestyle-friendly and fits a wide range of diets. There's only 1 gram of sugar and no chemicals or artificial anything. So, to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, it's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/believe. That's BLEAV. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/believe.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Athletic Greens. Take ownership of your health.
Yes. So to keep with the theme of March Madness, I went ahead and made an all vol bracket. So these are vol legends that we've had over the years in multiple sports. And it's kind of based off of the success they had, the personalities they are, what they brought to Tennessee, what they did after they were done, what they meant to the university. And we're going to, put some polls out. So all of you guys can vote on these too. And me and Reed are just going to go through it with each other and see who comes out the winner, but definitely want to see what you guys have to say about it. So we are going to put polls on Twitter and be able to fill out this entire bracket. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. So we will start with number 1 overall versus number 16. And Reed has a bracket in front of him too.
I don't.
General Neyland versus Tobias Harris.
I don't have the bracket in front of me. I apologize.
It's fine.
So
Just
all you're gonna have to,
well, yeah, I guess you're using your phone for something else, but
yeah. So just read them off though. It's fine. But I just thought it was funny. You're like, Reed has his in front of me. I was like, no, I don't. I came to.
he's never prepared. He's never prepared, guys. It's always me. So
no shocker. It's just like when we were in biology class together, and I was either a junior and you were a sophomore, or I was a sophomore and you were a freshman. Either way, like I was a grade older, and I'd always walk in and be like late, not have my stuff, and I'd turn around and there's Kyler. And he's like already in his desk, like sitting there ready, like good student. And the funny thing about it is like Kyler was like such a good student in class and like never really got in trouble, but we always had so much fun because he would end up laughing. He would start laughing at me doing something stupid, and then I would laugh at him laughing.
Yeah, because Reed and Jack were in the other corner of me, and they would still mess around, and I would laugh all the way across the room, and I would get in trouble for laughing at you.
Do you remember how Surlis? Not Surlis.
Sullivan.
Yeah, Sullivan. What a lame-o. But Coach Sullivan had me on the far left, had you in the back middle, and Jack in the far right. He had Jack and I as far apart as could be, and we would still like see each other and laugh and say something stupid, and then you'd be in the middle just watching all of it.
Dude, one time we caught a fellow classmate, and I won't say his name, dipping during a movie.
Yes.
And that was hilarious.
Yes.
Coach Sullivan getting on him, and we started getting on him like, what are you doing, bro? Are you dipping? Oh my God. Like just being so obnoxious. But that's 15 and 16-year-olds for you.
That's so funny you brought that up because that's the one thing I'll always remember. How dumb when you're trying to dip in the baseball coach's class is if, and this kid had taken a water bottle and like colored the water bottle so you couldn't see what was in it, like with like a Sharpie. And he had his head down on the desk and was like trying to drop the spit down in. Like, first off, there's a bunch of guys in our grades that would do it. They just use pouches. And this guy's actually trying to dip. And the coach is like, hey, so-and-so, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, nothing. And so right when that happens, we're like, oh. And then, like you said, you're like, what an
idiot. Oh, gosh. We're horrible. We're horrible. Anyways, let's get to this dang bracket. So first pick up, General Neyland versus Tobias Harris. I think this is an easy one. I think I'm going to move Neyland on to the next round, unless you have a veto of that.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with moving that.
Yeah, listen, I love Tobias Harris, and he was a very good basketball player for us, and I love to have it on campus, but it's just like, honestly, I mean, Neyland might just sweep this whole thing.
I don't know about that.
There might be some competition.
Hey, but I will say kudos to you. You did a great job with this bracket. I can't wait for people to see the bracket because when they see how you seeded, you did fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that for the podcast. I texted you that. I said, man, this is good. Like the seeds are good.
Yeah. So next up, we have the 6 versus 11. Philip Fulmer at the 6th spot versus R.A. Dickey at the 11th spot. Naturally, I'm going to want to put Fulmer ahead. Now, I know you, Reed, have a little tiff with Fulmer. Don't think he's quite as good as everyone else does, but I don't know if you really think R.A. Dickey's better than him.
No, I mean, I'll put Fulmer's getting to the second round, but I'm probably going to have him knocked out round of 32 because I'm just so sick of Fulmer and the Fulmerites and all those bunch of people up there. Like, just get him to the next round, but I'm putting him out second round. I don't care who he is.
And we appreciate R.A. Dickey. I think he's, one of the 2 best baseball players that we've had. I've got the jersey of the other one who's also on this list. And, he was a great professional player too. So, and he's always like represented Tennessee. So that's great of him. I love that when guys do that. Next one, which I think is going to be very difficult for most people. I think me and you are going to be on the same page, but it's our 8 versus 9. It is Leonard Little at number 8 versus Deion Grant at number 9. And in my eyes, I'm going to go with Leonard Little, even though I love Deion. I think he was an amazing safety and like made such huge plays for us. but Leonard Little just seems more important in my memory. And I think the defensive lineman, like the lineman part of it for me too. I'm like, I very much appreciate a very good lineman. And I saw an old practice tape of him pushing a guy over a water horse in one-on-one. So that kind of sells me too.
I wish I could have seen that. That'd been sick.
It was great. Our video guy was like, listen, this was like right after this guy was like trying to talk trash to Leonard, and they're doing like one-on-one pass rush drills. And there's a water cooler like behind the offensive linemen that are waiting to go. So it's like 15 yards behind where the ball is. And Leonard just keeps pushing him and literally dumps him over this water horse and on the ground, and gets up, just starts talking mad shit and like almost starts to fight. But it was, hey, you like, don't come in here unless you're ready for this smoke, baby.
Incredible. I could have just watched that and gotten hyped, ready for practice that day.
Yeah. So would you put Leonard ahead?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Love you, Deion Grant. Okay. Don't be mad at us. Next up, our 4 versus 13 seed. We have Al Wilson coming in at number 4. Our 13 seed is Bernard King, who was a basketball player back in the day. I really didn't get to watch him much, but he did have a good professional career and is seen as one of the more famous Tennessee alums. So, I mean, I know who your favorite Vol is. So I'm going to say that Al Wilson's going to the next round.
Move him on.
Moving forward, we're very chalk right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're all the higher seeds. Okay, staying on this side. Number 3 versus number 14, we have John Ward, the amazing John Ward. From the 25 to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give him 6. I love John Ward. That's why he's in the intro for everybody who listens to it. And he's going against Heath Schuler, which was a great player for us. Played quarterback. He also played baseball, and was one of those quarterbacks that maybe not everyone talks about. Like they talk about the Paytons a little bit more. They talk about the Clausens a little bit more in recent memory, the Dobbs. But Heath Schuler was a baller, dude.
But no, he was outstanding. He was a very good player. I think there's still some people that I see on Twitter or that listen, and Heath Schuler's their favorite Vol of all time. So super respectable and stuff. But no, there's no way I would pick him over John Ward. Unfortunately,
No.
that's just personal bias. There's a lot of people that probably would pick Heath Schuler over John Ward, but I'm definitely going with John Ward.
Yeah, me too. I feel like maybe if we made like a losers bracket of these people, it would be a little closer. But yeah, I'm going John Ward for sure. Next matchup,
I think a lot of people did what my dad did, and I remember growing up with it. But like, you would turn the TV on, turn the volume down, turn the radio up, because you'd want to watch it but listen to John Ward. I think I remember that specifically from my childhood because my dad would do that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that did the same.
I think, yeah, I think people still do that now, even though it's not John Ward, it's Bob Kessling. I think people still do that because they don't want to hear freaking Jordan Rodgers tell us how we're not as good as Kentucky. Like, get the fuck out of the screen, bro. Next up, we have the number 7 versus number 10. We've got Todd Helton versus Holtzclaw. So Jamaica Holtzclaw. Both amazing players for their respective sports. Todd Helton, wearing his jersey right now, is seen as a very famous Vol. And so it's Holtzclaw. It's a very famous Vol, winning national championships under Pat. I think this is a tough one. I really want to lean towards Holtzclaw. Like I do, just because of her winning. I think she's like top 5 in points scored by Lady Vol at least. And I think she was like All-American like all 4 years she was there. So she was just an absolute baller.
Yeah, I'm going Shamiqua just because I don't need people attacking me or getting on. I'm just not a huge Todd Helton guy.
Yeah.
So he had a great career. He played forever in the in the MLB, but like I'm going Shaniqua. Matter of fact, it's a disservice to her that we don't have her stats pulled up. But yeah, she was like a freak. Like she was amazing. So
yeah, she really was. So that's our first upset, 10-7. So that's great. She moves on to the next round. Number 5 versus number 12. We have Eric Berry versus Derek Barnett. I love Derek Barnett. And recency bias might push people towards Barnett when we do the online poll. And, I played with him, but I'm going to pick Eric Berry. I think what Eric Berry meant to Tennessee at the time, us being as bad as we were and him still succeeding, trumps kind of what Derek did. Even though Derek, he broke Reggie White's sack record. He's an all-time Vol, drafted in the first round, just like Eric was. Like, he's definitely seen as a great Vol as we go through time. But Eric, man, just his resilience, his fight. He always supported Tennessee. Both of his brothers ended up coming here because of him. Got a chance to play with him. And I remember when he first got injured in the NFL, I think it was ACL, and he had surgery. He tweeted out, was like, everything went great with the surgery. I'm all recovered. The doctors got really scared though when we went in, and it was leading down this path of oh no, what happened? He was like, I forgot to tell him that my blood is orange. And I was like, God dang it, I fucking loved you so much. I already loved you as a player. And then to see you say that, it's yes. So I mean, Eric Berry, moving on to the next round.
Yeah. This is so bad to say because Derek Barnett was a fantastic player, broke the sack record. But like you said early on, this is more about not just what you did on the field, but everything that you did for the university and stuff. And Eric Berry was a much better pro than Derek Barnett. Bigger, probably definitely bigger name, bigger stories. Like you said, his brothers come in there. I don't think it would be close, honestly. It's Eric Berry.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the personality of Eric too. Derek is very secluded, not much of a people person. So I think that makes a difference. But then the last one on this.
I mean, I've said it on here before, but I truly think that Eric Berry still didn't even get his real kudos that he deserved in the NFL. I said it on here before, but it always used to make me mad. Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and the Legion of Boom, they'd get more credit at the time, or people wanted to give I don't know, other safeties.
Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, but Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu are absolute greats. They're Hall of Famers.
Eric Weddle.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there was always these guys who were kind of good for a couple years, but maybe not as good as the people you just named that did it forever. And so it's they always want to say oh, he was better, he's the best safety. It's if Eric Berry played for the Seattle Seahawks or for a bigger team or whatever, and he wasn't super flashy. He had swag about him, made big time plays, but he wasn't win a big market. I even feel people would consider Tyrann Mathieu a better, cheaper, better safety, and I don't think so. I don't think he's a better safety than Eric Berry at all. I think I like Tyrann Mathieu. I think he's swaggy and a good leader, but I actually think he's slightly overrated. I think he still lives off the hype and that persona that he had in college. I watch him and he's a good player, but I don't think he's as productive as Eric Berry. So I still feel Eric Berry just didn't get talked about enough in the league. Was always one of the best safeties, had to deal with his Achilles injury, had cancer, came back. Dude was always a dog and a baller, and that's what pisses me off about them losing that game because D Ford lined up off sides against the Patriots, because that would have been the year that he could have maybe won a Super Bowl, and then the Chiefs ended up releasing him, and you never heard from Eric again. Eric's probably out doing chilling, hanging out with his family, doing great service work, and he just doesn't he doesn't put himself out there.
No, yeah. I completely agree with what you're saying. I think Tyrann is definitely over the hype, and just to think if Eric's prime was the same time that this Chiefs prime is happening, how much he'd be talked about would be insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so last one on this side, we have 2 seed versus the 15 seed. We've got Reggie White versus Joey Kent. This is obviously Reggie White.
Yep.
Moving on, Hall of Famer, NFL and college, the Minister of Defense. Sorry, Joey, love you. Great wide receiver for us, but like it's not going to happen. On to the other side of the bracket, we've got Pat Summitt is the number 1 seed versus Justin Gatlin. So our track star, Justin Gatlin, USA phenomenon.
Olympian.
Olympic phenomenon, came through, killed it in the Olympics. I think he got a gold in a 4x1.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. So gold medalist. I love Justin. I thought it was the first time that I really felt like pride, like even more pride in the Olympics, like not just USA, but like, oh dang, that's a Tennessee graduate. Like that's really cool. But obviously, I mean, Pat is one of the best between her and Nealon, like the best coach that came through Tennessee.
Yeah, you're just wasting time talking right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just too nice of a guy. You try to well, we're picking this one, but we still really like sport. Like, bro, Justin Gatlin, like he's an Olympian, he's whatever. But this is Pat Summitt. Like we can keep moving.
I know. I just appreciate every single person I put on this list because they are in my top, like in my head, the top 32, because that's how many we did, Vol athletes or coaches or personalities that have come through. So I just want to give him a little shout out. But yes, Pat Summitt moves on.
Let me go ahead and read this just to cut you off before my iPad dies. And this is like I said, it was a disservice to her, so I went ahead and pulled it up for Shamika Holtzclaw.
Yes.
Listen to this, bro. So first off, she was the first overall pick in the draft for the WNBA. Listen to this. 6-time WNBA All-Star, 3-time All WNBA second team. She was the Rookie of the Year, 2-time rebounding champion, scoring champion 1 time. Then she was the 3-time NCAA champion for UT, 2-time Naismith Award winner, 2-time AP Player of the Year, another 2-time AP Player of the Year for USBWA, 2-time Honda Sports Award, 2-time WBCA Player of the Year. She was a gold medal for the Olympics. It's a joke, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. She was absolutely insane.
And so, oh my God, there's still more awards. Anyways, I know we got to move on, but anyways, I'm happy we picked her because we both knew that she was a stud, but I'm glad that I read those off.
Oh yeah. There's even more. Like she's insane. There's a reason why she won, 3 national championships, like crazy player. But I'm going to pick her over Todd, but, so staying on that right side. Now we're going down for our 6 versus 11 matchup. It is Big John Henderson versus Travis Henry. Now, when we were talking in our top 5 alls over the past 25 years, we both had Big John Henderson because he's an absolute freak. He's a 2-time All-American, and no one could stop him. So I love Travis Henry and what he was, and the fact that he was like a tag team back with 2 different backs and still had success is kind of crazy. But I'm going Big John Henderson. I'm wanting to put him into the next round. He's going to go up against Summitt.
I love the cheese, and I love Travis Henry, and I love Travis Stevens and Jamal Lewis and all of those guys. But no, it's Big John. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And the anticipated one that is going to be a good conversation: the 8 versus 9. 8 being Rick Barnes, number 9 being Bruce Pearl. Now, with what just happened, I really feel like this is a different conversation if we won yesterday. But in my eyes, I'm probably going to put Barnes next. I'm going to have him win this round versus Pearl.
Yeah,
It's a tough one to read.
I'm probably going to have to say I still think Bruce did more for the basketball. Like, we were a dumpster fire before he got here.
Okay. The turnaround.
And he was so I mean, he made the men's basketball team relevant. Like, he did. Not only because of his personality and his antics, because he also won. And he had a good product. And he's still the only one that's taken us to our only Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're probably going to remember Rick in the end more, maybe. I don't know. I was going to say maybe because he'll end up being here longer and probably winning more games because he'll just be here longer.
And Bruce will probably win a national championship with Auburn.
And that's correct. And that's so funny. We always think so much alike. But, yeah, that people are going to remember Bruce for being at Auburn compared to Tennessee. But I still think I have to put Bruce just because of the magnitude of how he helped change the men's program.
Okay. So this is the one that we disagree on.
Yeah.
Let's
listen, it's very difficult for me. Like, last year I would have been like, Bruce, keep moving it forward. But, it's tough. It's really tough for me, even though I am such a big Bruce guy.
Yeah, probably 2 months ago it wouldn't have been.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I'll say Bruce for mine. I don't know what happens now. I guess since you're the host, so just take yours. But
yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait for the next round and just see if any of them would pass by this, because the next one up that they're going to have to face is number 4 versus number 13, Doug Atkins versus T. Martin. I'm moving on, Doug. I mean, he was our first Hall of Famer. He was a Hall of Famer in NFL and in college. And T. Martin, in a way, is very overrated in my eyes. Like, great, love you. Love the fact you were undefeated. Love the fact you won a national championship for us. Like, there isn't a lot of people who can say they won a national championship with Tennessee. You're one of them. It was still one season. It was still very heavily – our offense was very heavy running. And, like, a lot of things had to happen that weren't T. Martin plays. Like, made field goals, big-time defensive stops, big-time fumbles, like that kind of stuff, where it wasn't just T. Martin, like, won the Heisman and the national championship, where it's like this team's on his back. So I'm going to have to say Atkins moves on.
I got really nervous because right when you announced both of them and said, I have to say this, I was like, you better not say T. Martin. But I agree with everything. I agree with everything you just said. And I don't feel like Doug Atkins, I don't even think enough people even know who he is. Like, I'm fortunate enough to really know Doug because he lived in Holston Hills. Like, he lived here. He was 3 doors down or the other street down. Him and my grandfather were very close. So I remember growing up and when I'm young, I'm like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. My dad and my grandfather's like talking about Doug Atkins, one of the greatest UT players of all time. I'm like, whatever, old man. Like, yeah, right. He's not better than like Peerless Price or like, the guy, Al Wilson or I'm talking about my players. Like, my 2 favorite at the time were Peerless Price and Al Wilson. I'm like, he's not better than them. And then it's like, as you get older, and I was fortunate enough to get to go meet Doug and sit and talk with him, and some really cool stories. And I'm gonna tell you the coolest thing though about Doug is I was in Vegas. I think I was like a freshman in college, and I went down there on a trip. And you know that I love autographs. I love sports memorabilia. That's kind of like the art that I like to have in my man cave and stuff. So I was walking through the mall that's attached to Caesar's Palace, and I see a sports memorabilia place. I'm like, or it was just a memorabilia, it wasn't all sports. I was like, bet, I'm gonna go in. Well, as I start I'd seen it one day. I'm going back the next day. I didn't have time. So I'm going back. I'm excited to go to this place. Well, all of a sudden I see a line out front. I'm like, what the hell is there a line out front for? They were doing an autograph session that day, and it happened to be Dick Butkus. I'm like, oh, bet, that's cool. I was like immediately like, all right, I'm going to do this. And you could go and you could pay like $100 and get like a picture signed, or you could pay like $150, $200 and get a picture in a football, or you could pay like $300 and get the jersey, football, whatever, and sit down and talk with him. So I did all three. I still have the jersey and everything. I sat down and talked with him. And you know how that was the first time I'd really done one of those, but I sit down, he shakes my hand. He's like, hey, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Tennessee. I said, I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. He goes, oh, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, a guy named, he said, talk about Tennessee Vols and this, that, and the other. And he's like, yeah. He goes, one of the best football players I ever played was from Knoxville, Tennessee. I said, oh, really? Who's that? And he goes, Doug Atkins. He's like, you know who that is? I was like, yeah, he's my neighbor. He's like, really? And so I told him about how my Big Mo, my grandfather, and Doug were good friends. He goes, I'm going to tell you something. He said, Doug Atkins was the best football player I ever played with or ever saw. And this is Dick Buckus saying this. Like, Dick Buckus.
Yeah, this is a Hall of Famer, one of the best, most people think.
Ever, right. He's one of the best defense players ever, Hall of Famer, one of the best middle linebackers ever, or whatever. And he looked at me dead in my eyes. He goes, Doug Atkins was the best football player I've ever seen. And I remember Big Mo, my grandfather, telling me that Doug Atkins was the reason, and I don't know how true this is, but he was the reason for the first double team, meaning like he was the first defender that they double team. They used, as my grandfather said, because he didn't really know sports. He knew sports, but not. He's like, they had to use two men to block him. I was like, yeah, Big Mo, I know what a double team means.
Yeah,
But so and then the rest of the time I sat there, I actually was lucky enough to be the last person to sit with Dick Buckus because I got there late, and he sat there and talked for 20 minutes, and it was all about Doug Atkins and telling me all these awesome stories. And I'll finish up by saying he told me one time that towards the end of Doug's career, he got traded from the Bears to the Saints, and he was playing the Bears. And he said it was practice, and towards the end of his career, Doug didn't practice. He would just go and chill. And Dick Buckus said that he would go and sit on a big John Deere tractor that they used to mow the practice field. He'd go sit on that with his sunglasses on and watch practice and sit there and drink Jack Daniels or, some type of liquor. And he'd just sit and chill. And then he would show up on Sundays and just absolutely dominate. And he said he remembers when the Bears had to play the Saints and Doug got his revenge back. And he said it was just, and he goes, even late in his career, he said he should have been on his way out. And he said it was phenomenal. So I'm glad that you knew who Doug, I mean, obviously you know who Doug is. But
yeah, that's an awesome story. I think people will love to hear that. That's great. I love the fact that Dick Buckus is like, dude, let me tell you about this man. Because that's the same way that people talk about like Reggie White. I would say some people talk about Peyton that way. Yeah. And it's just nice to see that those guys came from where we came from. You know what I mean? And people are talking about him like that.
It's very, very impressive when greatness tells you about how great someone else is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on down. We have the number 3 versus the number 14. This is Peyton Manning versus Casey Clausen, the Iceman. Love Casey Clausen, but Peyton Manning's moving forward in my eyes. I think in your eyes also. Iceman was great. I think he can arguably be seen as number 2 quarterback that's ever come through. Like, I think people would argue that. I think it's a toss-up with like him, Heath, T. Martin, of like who was that next guy. So next up, and I really like this one, the 7 versus 8. We have Candace Parker at 7 versus Chris Lofton at 10. Sorry. So Candace versus Chris Lofton, which is probably going to be impossible for Reed to pick. I've been thinking about this since I made this probably a week ago.
I know who I'm picking, but this is
and tough. I think I'm going to go with Candace.
Yeah.
And it's because how dominant she was, how much she won, how dominant she was in the WNBA, how dominant she was overseas, how she's represented Tennessee, how she's on TV talking about us, how she supports every single Tennessee team there is.
And she's also a huge supporter of Pat.
Yeah, huge supporter of Pat. And with Chris, I love Chris, but all he's really known for is that shot over Kevin Durant. And there's not much else. There's not the championships. There's not that after college, in this success or him being in the spotlight or anything like that. So I feel like that kind of hurts his case.
Yes, but also he's not only known for that shot. He's known as probably the greatest shooter in Tennessee basketball history, like him and Allen Houston. So it's not like he was a one-hit wonder and hit one shot. Dude was an absolute freak show, and he was a part of that Bruce Pearl of putting us on the map. A two-star kid from Kentucky that Kentucky didn't recruit. So he wasn't just known for one play. But I get what you mean. Afterwards, Candace is the pick.
Yes, I agree. She's the one who moves on. So our number 5 versus number 12 is Ray Mears versus Tamika Catchings. I think this is a very interesting one because Ray Mears is seen as like the guy who founded men's basketball, but Tamika Catchings was every bit as good as Holtzclaw, like probably even better.
Yeah, I'm going Tamika.
I would too. Okay,
cool. All
so
right.
I like that. I would too. And then the last one of this round is number 2, Johnny Majors versus number 15, Peerless Price. And I know you just said that was one of your favorite players. But the fact that, Johnny Majors is moving on.
I'm just going to say it. I would pick Peerless Price. He would be my 50. He'd be my St. Peter's over Kentucky. But I would write Peerless Price down. Johnny Majors, really good coach. Didn't win a national championship with us. He won it with Pitt. So I'm putting Peerless Price, but that's just me.
Yeah, but the reason why Johnny is there is because he also came up with going through the tee. He came up with putting the checkerboards in the end zones as a coach. He came up with a bunch of different stuff as a coach. He was also a great player too, an amazing player for Tennessee. So I think that goes into it of his legacy.
Yeah, well, I would have been an amazing player too if I played back in the 40s.
You're probably right. So we'll leave that up because we had to talk about this game. We're already at past an hour going through that first round. So we will complete it next week on next week's pod, and we will put out our guest interview on next week's pod also. So that should be a very good one starting spring ball up this week. So that should be fun. Thank you guys for coming out, for watching. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you're listening on all your platforms, follow, rate, review, share with everybody. We could really, use the help. It's awesome. If you want to contact us, we have an email, bleavintennesseefootball@gmail.com, and a phone number, 865-322-9232. And follow us on social media at Believe in Tennessee on Twitter for our main account, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Kerberson on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for me. So follow us there. And as always, go Vols.